Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into Border City Rock Talk, where you get great interviews from great interviewees and sometimes a comedic touch. Today behind the screen in front of you, I have got the mysterious, that's why his face is hidden. He's probably getting his makeup done for the big tour coming up. I've got King Diamond. How are you, Kim?
Doing very good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I am not too bad. I am very pleased, and I thank Jenny for getting me this interview I've been going after for about 8 months now. I've been very patient. You are embarking on your first North American or American tour with Mercyful Fate in a couple decades. How does that feel?
It feels very good, I can tell you. It's there's a lot of things that have been happening progressively here. A lot of it had to do with COVID, putting a block on a lot of things. You know, we were supposed to go out and play European festivals in 2020, and they all got cancelled because of and pushed to the year after 2021, and then they got cancelled one more time and pushed to 2022, and finally we could do them this year. In the meantime, of course, we've been finishing up our home studios, and we've been writing. I got a graphic novel, King Diamond, Abigail, out, you know, and a lot of stuff has been done, you know, and planning. We closed down our Danish company and set up two companies in the US for Mercyful Fate and two companies for King Diamond to get everything set up right after we signed up with 5B management, you know. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things have changed, and there's been a lot of new things. We have a business management now. So a lot of this stuff that should be there, that we've always done ourselves because we never had a management before. Mm-hmm. Learned the hard way, you can say. But now a lot of doors are opening, you know, in a good way. The stars have aligned properly, as I've said for a long time. If they did, I would certainly consider going out with Mercyful Fate again, but not under the conditions where you let's say bring a backdrop and get some money and then you are done with that. That would not be respectable for Mercyful Fate to do. I've said it has to be full out, and that's what we're doing. And the production that we are bringing with us here is the one that was out in Europe at all the festivals, but it's actually a little bigger. It was never finished. Not even in Las Vegas was it finished. That's a production that was built in the US to mimic exactly the one we had in Europe, which is still sitting over in Europe. It's such a problem these days to do things with COVID and all this, you know. Containers are 3 times the price. Yeah. It takes not just 8 weeks that like it did before to get across the Atlantic, you know. There's no guarantee it's going to make it across in months, you know. It could be 3-4 months, whatever. But so you can't deal with that anymore. It has to be like, but it's actually better for us because we could play like we did in Europe. The last show there was in Birmingham, England, you know, and we played 1 week later in Las Vegas. We were able to do that because now we have productions both places, so we can be much more prolific, or whatever you want to say. We won't have to say no to shows anymore. It seems like just because they are further away, we might have a production very close by that we can make it happen. So that's all good things, you know. And now here I got news yesterday actually from Poland, where they're building the last parts for the show, which is some Gothic arches that are going on the second floor of the production. And I saw them there, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. My goodness, man! Now finally, I will see what it was. My dream was a long time ago when I was sitting with the paper with still squares on, drawing these little figuremen, whatever you say, like, and the whole thing. And now it's happening here, and they're actually going to do it. So.
Right. The new album, is it tentatively titled? I know it's obviously going to be released next year.
I have the title, I have the front cover, but I can't reveal it now. I'm not allowed to. It's going to be a while before that album comes out. Metal Blade are standing firm on their plan, as it was in 2019 when we stopped touring King Diamond over here, the US tour, you know. COVID has changed things, but not that. King Diamond will be the next album that comes out. It'll be the Institute. It's the first album of a 2-album story, and we are working on new material right now. Me and Andy, full blast, and me and Hank are working on Mercyful Fate material at the same time.
Right.
And the drums have been cut. It's only a week ago, I think, that Bjarne cut the final drums for the Jaguar Salzburg, which is and I'm in the song. We played it live. We didn't have the intro. We had the intro, but we didn't use it for the live purposes or the outro of the song. The song is totally studio version, 8 minutes and 54 seconds.
Yeah.
I remember when I heard it first time from Hank, it was 7 minutes and 24 seconds, I think. And then I came with my scalpel and did a few things, and then we had a different looking song, you know, but Hank really, really liked it. And it's kind of like how we did things in the old days. Just like the album you have behind you there, Don't Break the Oath. And
my favorite album, I think, that guitar passage from One Far Away, just beautiful.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my favorite pieces. I did watch the video where Jackal Salzburg. Tell us about what that song is about lyrically.
Lyrically, it was a nasty story I didn't hear till this year, actually. First time about the witch hunts and witch trials in Austria, specifically this one here outside of Salzburg, 2 hours bus ride from Salzburg, actually. You can find that castle called Musam Castle, standing in all its glory still. That's where justice was dealt, and maybe injustice, you could say better, in the early times there. This story takes place 1675 to 1690. That specific witch trial where I think it was 139 people died, was killed. And out of them, 109, I believe 109 or 107 were children between the age of 10 and 14. Most of them beggars. It was the story is seen from the through the eyes of a 20-year-old young man that was his mom was burned alive at the stake, 1675, and 2 years later they hunted him. He had become the Jackal, a guy in league with the devil, you know, and he was given up by her mom before she died under torture, you know, and so now they were hunting him, and they would get information, or like it was during the Inquisition. Someone wanted something, they would come and accuse someone, and then it was up to the others to try and prove them wrong. But it was very hard in those days to do that. I mean, a woman could be accused of talking nicely to one of her goats, for instance, you know, and someone saw it that didn't like her. It's like, oh man, she told her. Okay, I'm gonna report it. She spoke to the goat. The goat must have the devil in it, and this and that, blah blah blah. She should. And eventually, you know, they end up at the stake. And in that time period where all this happened, you know, it did happen in Musam Castle, also on each side of before 1675 and after 1690. I think it was 1760 something that they had the last witch burning at that specific place. It was in the villages right around the castle that they would have the burnings. They wouldn't do it in the castle, in the courtyard there. They would not do it there, but they certainly hung people and tortured them to death. They had the wheel there where they could pull people apart, and all these things. And I saw those things actually. We went to the castle during the tour over there and saw it, and went into the dungeon and saw the actual justice chamber. Wow. And we also saw the chamber next to it that was for purely torture. There was nothing in there but torture equipment that people had died on those specific things that was there. So it was the real deal, and that was an ominous feel for sure, and we shot a little video outside of the castle too, and very, very scenes up in such a beautiful setting. It's like valleys and mountains, and absolutely so beautiful. Lots of forests, and that's where these hunts or the chase went on through these forests, where they would have someone admit that they had seen something happen. It could be one of these children that said that inside the forest they had seen this jackal walking on two legs like a man, and it was probably him, the jackal, that they were looking for. And there were these other kids dancing around them, and they had a fire in there, but they didn't dare go over there. You might have an inquisitor say, you know an awful lot, don't you? And this kid would be like, I wasn't there. I saw it. I don't. I think we should have a talk with you too. Let's go into the castle and see what we can find out down in the dungeon, and everybody would push it away. But at that time, where all this took place, there was actually a woman burned at the stake for flying on a broomstick to the witches' Sabbath. Wow. For serious, 100%. And one of the bishops there was responsible for, I think, over 2,000 women who lost their lives. So it was a heavy place because the center of justice given was in that castle, and seeing it, of course, was pretty heavy.
Yeah. So it's obvious. Well, I've been a fan for years, but it's obvious that you're very well read, and so I guess history and probably neo-Gothic medieval history, is that kind of what your passion is? Reading?
It's part of it, because I mean, there's a lot of things that is, you can't imagine that human beings can do this.
Oh yeah.
It seems absolutely, but it happens today, right? I mean, we can look at what goes on today. You look at the news for a little while, and then it's like, oh wow, I can't believe those stories I just heard about this and that place in the world, So and the pointing finger stuff too, is very very normal. I mean, if you get accused of something, you protect yourself, and the best way is probably to push that guilt or that thing you're being accused of over on someone else. Try and make them focus on another place.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, we saw also Dracula's castle in Romania. We went there as well, which was also very interesting, but also very different than Musam was almost untouched. It was like when you walked around there, you could almost, they say it's very haunted, and you could almost feel presences in there, as if there was a lot of these people that did not deserve what they got there, were still hanging around. You could feel there was something. It was ominous in some way. Whereas Dracula's castle, which is, they say that it might not be the one where he might have been jailed there for a short time, for a couple of years maybe, or something like that. They said that was the strongest association there was to him there. But that's the one that everybody knows. It looks nice. Yeah. There's another one where they think the real guy was actually staying there. It's just a ruin now. But we go in there, we take a walk. It's like you walk through a tourism place. There's so many families with kids and stuff, so many restaurants on the road leading up to this Dracula's castle. And it's like everybody's on vacation right there if you go to Romania, is what it seems like. And so it's a big tourist attraction. Right. And you get into the castle. There was one place where I saw this faceless, the character from Scream. They're put in there somewhere. I was like, oh, come on, you got to be kidding me.
Really?
Totally destroying the feel you were after. And so it's very tourist, like, still nice castle, but very touristy. And then we went to there was a place in Czech Republic, an hour outside of Prague, which is like the gateway to hell. Practically, there was a hole in the ground a long time ago, and they tried to fill it, but they couldn't fill it up. And they actually would hoist down prisoners into this if they were letting the people hoist them down. They would be set free afterwards. And some prisoners said, "Oh man, I'll do that. That'll be easy." When they got down to where it was pitch dark and they couldn't see them anymore, the screams started coming, and then they pulled them back up, and they say that the people came up completely white-haired and just aged 100 years.
Wow.
Just like weird stuff. But they tried to fill up the hole but couldn't. So nothing could fill up the hole. But they had laid down a heavy metal plates over it, and then on top of that laid a floor, and then built a chapel. And there's a full castle there, which is especially in the way that it is open in the center around where that hole is, you can say, or where that chapel is built. And when you see the castle from outside, it's not fortified at all. It's fortified towards the inside. So it protects against all the demons, they say, that would try and come out of the hole. We were there, and there was very interesting to see. It's beautiful inside, very beautiful. Lots of timely weapon collections and other stuff like that, clothing and other things like that. It was very, very interesting and nice, but unusual, very unusual.
Wow.
And yeah.
Yeah, I think one of your next albums will be titled Castles. I love castles.
Yeah, it was fun. It was only 3 we got to see while we were on tour, but we kept an eye out for if we got close to it. I mean, I saw we were playing Romania. I said, okay, what's the route? Can we get by there? It's 2 hours in the wrong way. Yeah, I'm sure we can handle that. So it was the same with the Musam Castle. That was also about 2 hours. I think we had to drive back where we came from, but it was well worth it. Absolutely.
For sure. So we're talking about, well, first of all, I got to ask you, what's the opposite of unsubscribe?
The opposite of unsubscribe?
Yeah.
I don't know. Subscribe?
Yes. Everybody that's watching, please subscribe to the channel, just as King Diamond ordered you to, so you get these great interviews. Thanks, King. And I've got a question for you. Well, it's not really a question. Your new lineup, well, not really new, but you've got somebody who's just joined the band for the tour that starts, I believe, on October 25th in Texas. She's replacing Joey Vera, who's got commitments with Armored Saint. Tell the viewers who's going to be playing bass for you on the tour.
Yeah, she's standing in for Joey Vera, and it's Becky Baldwin from Birmingham, England. Joey had a year and a half ago asked us if there was any chance we were going to be doing any touring at this specific point, because otherwise he would love to. They'd gotten an offer from Wasp to go out and support Wasp on the longest stint that they would ever have been out on at this time. And we said, man, not that we can see. King Diamond would have been out touring right now. That was the idea. That was the plan. And then COVID had changed things, several times. And with King Diamond and the way the production is turning out to be the plans for it with King Diamond, it's going to be something that is absolutely so unique that we can't waste it on anything. It has to be the right thing. It has to be with a full album and the full cycle, everything there. I mean, our lighting engineer is really going to get his hands full. He told me that this is something he has never even thought of doing. Like, I suggested we could do this, and he said this is going to be a challenge, and he looks so much forward to doing it. And it's going to be so horror, and it has to be right. We could have done a King Diamond tour here and had 3 songs ready. That's not again this year. Do a song and go out and try and tour. That's COVID, and that's no good reasons, no good excuses for not coming with the has to be the full album. When that's done, we do the King Diamond cycle, and this new production will be there. So, and me and Andy totally agree on this stuff. So does management, so does record label. So it's like we are not doing that tour right now with King Diamond. So, but we are writing for both Mercyful and King Diamond. And then our booking agent next door said that maybe you could do a short Mercyful tour and still not step on too much of the riding.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, that's what do you have in mind? And then it just came up, that we can maybe do this and maybe do that. So that's what we're doing now. Then we do a short Mercyful tour. And as we were touring in Europe, it became more and more, it got closer and closer that Joey's not going to play. Or he was asked, of course, so what are you going to do, Joey? We respect whatever you say. He's a permanent member of Mercyful Fate, absolutely 1,000%. He's such a great addition to the band, the lineup. When Timmy couldn't do it and he got sick and all this stuff, Timmy Hansen and myself actually picked Joey together.
Nice.
Timmy did it as well, and I went down and saw Joey play with I was saying it was actually with the Fates Warning in Dallas, and I was blown away when I saw his style, his finger playing like Timmy had, the sound he has very close to Timmy Hansen's, so it was just a perfect match, if it was possible. And then we had talked about, okay, we'll try to not cross path, with whatever else, because he has other stuff as well that he likes to do, but he would love to be both places if it was possible, but he can't.
Right.
And we respect whatever he would have chosen. We would have respected, and we do respect. And it's his baby, I'm not saying since day one, So I totally understand where he's coming from, and so then we looked at the different. There's one of my very good friends, a very very famous bass player, that was the first one I asked, and who was very very intrigued and asked to hear the set list. And when I told him the set list, he was like, "Oh my God, this is all my favorite songs. I can't believe this. Let me look into it." He said, "I'm not sure I can do it, but I have so many different projects going for myself at the moment. So let me check this." And then he came back and said, "I can't. I would so love to do it, but I cannot do it. I would have to sacrifice one of the other things I'm doing, and other people are depending on me. I can't. I totally understand. Don't worry, man. It's like but it was really nice to talk again, and so we started looking at going on the top 100 bass players or whatever, and you start looking through, and most of them are touring at the moment, because that's what people want to do now. And we're looking at start seeing the different styles. We really want someone with finger playing if it's possible, right?
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of great bass players, some of them were playing chords and stuff like that, and I'm like, whoa, we don't want that. Suddenly it gets quite selective. We are looking for something quite special now here.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be finger playing, it has to be very consistent playing, it has to be a certain sound we're after, and it's a lot of it is created with the finger playing, that growl that Timmy Hansen had, that Joey has gotten exactly the same, And I said to Mansfield, can it be a woman? Why would it not be able to be that? And he said, no, of course not. Next day he had one in mind. He sent me the different things to listen to and read up and stuff like that. And then I mentioned it to Hank, and then he said, yeah, there's another one that I actually followed for 2 years on the internet, just because he's an amazing bass player and really seemed like so intensely focused on music and stuff like that. And she actually seems to be a fan. I've seen her play King Diamond and Mercyful Fate songs, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, whatever, metal. Okay, so we'll send it over. Let me take a look. And he sent all the information over, and I sat and I saw that she's teaching, and that was then Becky, and that she's teaching, and how she's teaching, how there's not a lot of edits in what she's doing. Seems to be very strong, and that she's even teaching things like finger strengths and stuff like that, how to maintain it or get it. And I saw her play the various other songs, also Mercyful Fate song, and I made Black Sabbath, Rainbow, different stuff,
Yeah.
But the consistency with her playing was really amazing, and the finger playing, the sound, and then also what she looks like when she's playing. She doesn't set up poses and stuff like that. It's all very natural.
Yeah.
She's a bass player full power, and she's a very, very good bass player. So it was pretty easy to say, well, let's ask her, And we were actually 2 or 3 days away from Birmingham, playing at Bloodstock Festival outside of Birmingham, and my wife actually had a common friend with Becky that she didn't know of. But she said when we got closer there and said, man, we should try and get her. We wish we could get to talk to her while we are here. That would be great. Wonder if she's at this festival. And she was at the festival. And so we called her out to the stage, and then she got backstage. And I was standing there. I was doing some photos with, I think it was Emperor or Dim Borgir, or maybe both. Then we were doing some, and then she arrived there, and then they took her in, and I told her right there in full makeup and all this stuff that would you have the opportunity maybe, and would you like to play, stand in for our bass player who can't do this US tour we now know we are going to be doing, because we didn't know it 100% till quite recently. Somewhere in the middle of the European tour, it became obvious that this can probably happen. And don't have to say anything now. You can take a couple of days and just think it over, and then come back and let us know what you think. And she did. Yeah, she was playing with another band called Fury, and also has a punk band. I can't remember the name of that right now, but it's the Fury was having dates playing in Europe, Germany maybe or something, and some of that she thought might collide, but it should not be a problem. She thought she was going to talk to the other guys and stuff like that and see if they could fix it up, because she's kind of like the one that is running Fury business-wise. I think you can say, like, she books them, I guess, and she sets them up for stuff. Joey does that for Armored Saint too, actually. A lot of it. So that became like that, But she came back and said, yeah, she would love to do it, and it was possible to do it and all this stuff. Like, okay, so next it's the 75-minute set, that is what we've got, and that fits with the festival set that we've done all over Europe. So it's going to be. We didn't do the same order of songs the whole time in Europe. The first leg was 10 shows. I didn't like so much the order there. Most of it was okay, but there were some things I wanted to have changed in the presentation, also when they changed costumes and stuff like that. So I changed some of the things for the second one, and then the first show there was Bulgaria, and after that Hank was like, "Oh my God, this flowed so much better. This is the one. We cannot touch this. This is really cool." And the way it was blended, it was the right amount of black coat, red coat, or whatever. And so that became it, and then we played 8 shows in Europe with that, and that then also the same one in Las Vegas, and that's the one we are definitely going to play because it flows so great. And then her and Joey stuck their heads together on the internet, and Joey would play. He recorded along with the show we played at Wagen. He recorded his live bass things, what he does. Which is as close as Timmy as you can possibly get, and loud, so she could hear clearly what he's playing on bass, and she can play along with that. And she got some good stuff out of that. Specifically, Satan's Fall is extra demanding, And the thing here that is very, there's a couple of things that are quite special about it, is one thing. This is the first time for me ever that I am playing a tour with a stand-in for any of the other guys in either King Diamond or Mercyful. I never had a tour with a stand-in where I don't know what she's going to do on stage.
Yeah.
I don't know where she's going to go or how or this or that. It's like there's very few places that you can't be at a certain time. But that's otherwise it's like, I don't know. But I have faith,
Right,
So,
right.
and she'll have... I think it's 1 day rehearsal on the production where she can learn to walk on it. So, but it should be fine. I don't think it's going to be a problem. So she's been rehearsing a lot, and but there's another thing, that the style of music that is very unique about the situation, because it's no matter who would have come in and played bass, it's a special opportunity to play a style of music that I don't think you find anywhere else.
Right.
It's very unique, the way we put things together and the way we play them and the way we play live. Now we have these full solid staircases behind us, very solid. There's no sound coming through there, so it's monitors on the stage.
Yeah.
There's not a backline blasting. They can't get through the stairs.
Yeah.
So you have to adjust, and King Diamond has done some of the same things, adjusted to what we want to do with the production, instead of saying we can't do that with the production because we have to hear this and that. It's like, oh, then we can't do anything. What can we practically do with it? Let's try the other way. And that was our sound engineer said, hey, he plays in a band too, so he's we do this and we do that, and it works fine. Trust me, and we did with King Diamond, and it's like, oh wow, yeah, that works. So that's pretty much it. Now it's set. We got all her specifics for gear and whatever she needs, all this stuff, and she's gonna arrive to Dallas here on the 19th, I think.
19th. So yeah, so the tour starts on the 19th. And the reason I was interested was
25th is the first show. Yeah, the 25th of October is the first show in Dallas, and she arrives on the 19th here.
Okay.
For a couple of days rehearsal. Right. And then they move the big production over into the actual venue, and then we are going to be doing some there.
Yeah, the reason I brought up Becky was it's quite interesting lately. I mean, there's obviously tons and tons of women that are great rock musicians.
Oh yeah,
but they're now coming into the mainstream. Like you've got Tanya O'Halloran with Whitesnake, joined David.
Yeah.
And, so there's just so much talent. So I don't have much time left here. My 40 minutes is going to run out, but I don't want to let you let this go without saying a couple things. We're looking forward to the tour. It starts on the 25th, and I will see you in Detroit, Michigan. I think it's November 5th at the Masonic. I'm going to go and see that show because it's near me, and I encourage everybody to go see all the shows. How many shows are in the tour, King?
It's 14 right now. Might be 15, but it is 14 right as we speak now. It could be 15. There's room for one extra show somewhere in a certain area.
Okay. Is there any chance of Canadian dates being added to the King Diamond tour, which will probably be late next year?
King Diamond tour would certainly have Canadian dates. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, because there's a lot of fans up here in Canada for sure, King.
Is that okay? Oh, so you're up in Canada?
Yeah, I'm just on the other side of Michigan.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, we got a lot of Canadian fans, and I've got a lot of American subscribers as well. And they are going to want me to ask you if you can do for an outro for them a nice falsetto hang for us. We want to hear you, King. Wow, you went so high that it beeped out. I think if I had a wine glass in the room, it would have exploded.
I hope so.
Well,
no. I'm sitting in my studio room here, but the doors are open, so my wife from there downstairs would probably, what the fuck? Is she dying? Who knows?
All right. Well, thanks a lot for your time here, King, and I look forward to seeing you. And yeah, I'll definitely send you a note before the show, and maybe I can come back and see you guys.
Check that with Jenny. You should do that.
All right. Well, absolutely. I appreciate it.
And it's gonna. I can guarantee you will not forget that show ever.
No,
it's one of those types, and it'll sound fantastic, and it'll look fantastic, and finally we will have the production finished. Did I tell you that we that it was not finished? We actually have these two finally coming here right before we start.
Yeah, you don't do anything half-assed unless it's perfect. You're not doing it. So you're very much a perfectionist, and that's what people appreciate about your music. You don't put out any garbage. I've been a fan for years of King and Mercyful, and looking forward to the new album from Mercyful Fate and the new King Diamond double album, concept album coming out next year as well.
Thank you, man.